to Vision, our section in Lima, where a multidisciplinary panoramic view and perspective sustainable versus our cultural reality of every day. How are you? Thank you for being here once again. Thank you, God, for being here. Thank you for my production. Thank you for Lima. Thank you for our guest speakers to be aware of what we're going to do today. How much of you know about a plant-based diet? Yes, plant-based diet. I think it's like plants or something, like this plant here, like I can make this plant or something. I don't know if it's like veganism or vegetarianism, or I don't know what is that, but I have two guest speakers that are awesome in what they do. So I'm going to present and introduce to Miss SHIELA Castillo. How are you?
Hi, Carrie. Hello to you. I'm here in the Philippines at 2 a.m. and I'm so glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Joseph Solar. How are you? You're muted, Joseph. Unmute yourself. Yes, there you go.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. I'm here from Philadelphia. So looking forward to cooking for you guys.
Oh my God, you know, Sheila, look at that. Oh my God, there's so much food. It's so exciting. Thank you so much, Joseph. See you later, Joseph.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for being there. So now we're gonna start with Miss SHIELA Castillo. She's gonna talk about a plant-based diet. But before that, I'm gonna introduce to you who Miss SHIELA is. So, SHIELA Castillo is in Philippines, and there is like 2 a.m. in the morning, right, SHIELA?
Yes, it is.
Are you okay? Are you excited? I am. Okay. SHIELA Castillo is a futures learning advisor at the Center for Engaged Foresight. With CEF, she facilitated futures workshops for UNICEF Philippines, UN, United Nations Cambodia, East West Center Hawaii, the Forest Foundation Philippines, among others. She co-developed the futures card game, Dreams and Disruptions, with the CEF team, as well as the synthesis tool Intimate Futures. She is one of the co-founders of the Philippine Futures Thinking Society, PHILFUTURES, and served as Conference Secretary General of the Asia Pacific Futures Network Virtual Conference 2020 in November. She is a member of the Association of Professional Futurists. Before focusing on futures work, she was technical advisor of Let Us Create Futures, a child-focused nonprofit in Cambodia. She also worked as an organizational development specialist for VSO Cambodia, where she advised two provincial NGO networks in the provinces of Rattanakory and Mondulkiri. Ms. Castillo worked as a social development professional and consultant in the Philippines for more than 15 years. Before working in Cambodia, she has been active in climate advocacy since 2011 as a climate reality leader and has done around 80 climate presentations in the Philippines and in global platforms online. She also served as a mentor in the Climate Reality Global Training in March 2016, July 2020, and August 2020. She's a mentor. On Earth Day 2017, she was awarded the first Lumpiang Dahon Greenleaf Award for Climate Leadership in Philippines. She is part of the inaugural cohort of Common Purposes Sky Blue Environmental Leadership Program and currently an Association of Professional Futurists Emerging Fellow for 2021. Sheila's knowledge of plant-based diet did not come from formal training or education, but from her lived experience having been vegetarian for 12 years. Before she became a vegan in 2015, she has then since been active as an anti-speciest and abolitionist. She recently set up her Medium page, so you can watch her right there in medium.com, SHIELA Castillo, on her APF Emerging Fellow project, The Futures of Justice, and she's interested in action learning and ramification, intergenerational and interspecies justice. And you can reach her at her mail also, sheila.castillo.engageforsight.net, and she's gonna tell you that later. So Sheila, I am so excited that I have you here. And you know what? I was reading like you are a vegetarian and they're a vegan, like 17 years vegetarian, but do you like, I don't know how is that. So I am going to start with you and telling you, like, Sheila, what is a plant-based diet and what foods are included in there?
Okay, so plant-based diet, there are many kinds of plant-based diet, and a lot of experts are saying not all plant-based diets are created equal, because there are two main categories of plant-based diet. One is called vegetarian and the other one is vegan diet. And the vegetarian diet is actually composed of several also. So as a vegetarian, you could either be a lacto-vegetarian, which consumes dairy, cheese, butter, all milk products, an ovo-vegetarian who eats eggs also, or a lacto-ovo-vegetarian. And veganism, on the other hand, does not include any does not include any animal ingredients at all. So it's basically all plants for vegan. But for vegetarian, they could either eat some eggs, and there are also some people who are saying flexitarian also. Well, of course, if you're a flexitarian, you're not vegetarian.
Wait. What's a flexitarian?
Well,
okay, I have my mind is like flexitarian, like I flex, I stretch. No, like
well,
what's a flexitarian? What is that?
Flexitarians are people who sometimes eat plant-based diet and sometimes eat a meat-based diet. And people are saying this is a kind of vegetarianism, but it's not, no? Because, a vegetarian diet should not include any fish, meat, or any like animal ingredient, like animal flesh.
So what you mean is like they're flexible between being a vegetarian and a vegan. Like they are both. They are nor white nor black, they're gray.
They're actually, flexitarian are actually eating everything. They're shifting between eating everything and being plant-based eater, So it's actually not a vegetarian diet. And some people are saying reducitarian. And that's another way of like defining your diet. Some people are trying to reduce the intake of meat. But that is really not defined as vegetarian. People just really use it very loosely, So there are some, confusion about what really a plant-based diet is. So basically, plant-based is either vegetarian or vegan. And in terms of vegetarian, we have three: ovo, lacto-ovo, and lacto-vegetarian.
So what do you mean is that in vegan, let's see if I understand. Okay, audience, please have patience with me. The vegetarian, it's with animal products. You can eat eggs, you can eat chicken, you can eat meat, you can eat the meat of the pork, the fish. I mean, you can eat animal cheese. But in the vegan, you cannot eat that. I cannot eat eggs in vegan. I'm a vegan. I do not eat eggs. I do not eat cheese. I do not eat anything that is animal product, from the cow, from the pork, from the sheep, whatever you are eating, I cannot eat it. Including like a frog, there's a frog, like rabbit, like duck. I cannot eat anything of that. Not even eggs, not chicken, nothing. Only plants.
Okay, if you're eating only plants, then you are eating a vegan diet. So a vegetarian diet is totally different from a vegan diet because, once you include eggs, once you include honey, once you include any dairy products in your diet, you're no longer vegan because those come from animals. So,
oh my God, honey, like the bees that we love.
Yes.
They're not included in a vegan diet?
Honey is not included in a vegan diet. Any animal products or byproducts, they are not vegan. They are not considered vegan. So I haven't had any of those for a long, long time. And it's great,
So is plants better?
Of course, definitely plants are better. When we are talking about our health, it's very important for us to see, how are, plants going to help us in terms of our health, no? But it's not just limited to to our health when it comes to our diet. When we say we are vegetarian, we are limiting our intake of any products that come from animals, very limited to those three: dairy, eggs, and honey. But then if you're vegan, you know, those are totally off the menu. And those are really so much better, because when you are eating a plant-based diet, any of those plant-based diet, you are, you know, helping yourself in terms of your health. You are helping the planet also, and you are helping animals. You know, you're not killing animals, you're not eating them. So I would say that a vegan diet, if we're talking about plant-based diets not being created equal, the vegan diet is ultimately more superior than any other diets out there.
And all plants can be eaten. I mean, flowers can be eaten. I can eat flowers in a vegan diet. Are there like,
Yes, definitely. You know, Carrie, we have around
for real? I can eat flowers, like any flower, like, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, Carrie, we have 400,000, around 400. This is an estimate, around 400,000 different plants in the world. This is an estimate. I suppose there are more, but experts are saying we could eat at least half of this. Around 200,000 plants in the world are edible for humans. And unfortunately, we're not eating anywhere near that number. We're only eating like 0.1% of all of that, around 200 kinds of plants. And so we are not really, you know, utilizing or maximizing all of this abundant, you know, food that is available to us. Flowers for also, you know, carry. They're not just for teas, no? Carries are, I mean, flowers are just considered to be like all decorative for our dishes, but they're not. You can completely eat them. And in the Philippines, we have quite a few number of edible flowers. I'm sure there are a lot too in Latin America.
Yes, and what about like this idea of, you know, you were speaking, I was like, it's so amazing how the mortality rate in humans can be like literally be equivalent to a plant-based diet and being mortality reduced by this plant-based diet. I mean, eating flowers, being vegan, it's like an immortal, you know, thing for us.
Well, of course, everybody ages, everybody gets sick, but then there are so many benefits of a vegan diet. If you're vegetarian or vegan, of course, there are a lot of benefits. Let's say if I totally stop eating any of those animal ingredients right now, if I stop them, then I start healing my health, no? And I start, you know, improving my immune system. And then I, you know, reduce inflammation in my body, because a lot of non-plant-based food are inflammatory, especially dairy is very much inflammatory. And of course, when you are eating a plant-based diet, you have a lot of fiber, you have a lot of fiber intake, you clean your tummy. That means you gain, you know, maintain a healthy weight, no? And then you also intake a lot of antioxidants. And when you intake a lot of antioxidants in your fruits and vegetables, that means that you are, you know, eliminating free radicals in your body, and that these free radicals are actually the source of a lot of, you know, cancers in our body. So you mentioned also that vegans are you know, immortal. Of course, we're not, but it really does slow down aging. You will see a lot of vegans who are, you know, a lot young looking than their actual age, and but I think, you know, if you look at it overall, there are so many benefits that not one of them is, you know, going to be your only reason to go vegan. It will be like you will see that the holistic improvement of your health, and so it is infinitely more what do you say, better than any other diet out there.
Well, you know that it's funny that you mentioned that because I was like watching a document yesterday about this plant-based diet, right? And I was watching
Uh-huh.
one of the blood cells, and
Okay.
our body has these blood cells that we have to function. You know, they blood out, they blood our heart. They give life to us. Our blood is life in us. So
Mhm.
they were making an experiment uh, with two athletes, and they had these two athletes with one that had this kind of blood, like a very cold-hearted, very obscure blood, and the other one that had this kind of blood, like made transparent, because this one was a plant-based diet and this one was an animal plant diet, an
Mhm.
animal-based diet, I'm sorry. So when they had like the two of one tasted for their blood to be tested, they get them to eat the plant-based diet to both. This one was the same, the blood was the same because he was already in a plant-based diet. But the one that was in an animal-based diet, when he ate by 1 week plant-based diet, his blood changed like this. He was
Mhm.
half transparent and half obscure in his blood. So what I mean by this is that the plant-based diet literally in his health, in his blood, that the blood is life for us. In the blood, everything goes and flows. We are 70% water in our organism. This was the plant-based diet for 7 days that he had as an athlete.
Mhm.
So this is like really what we need to understand when we are talking in a plant-based diet. And one of the questions for this is for you, like um what do you call veganism, like for the diet and to save the planet? We can do both of those things. Like if I have a based plant diet, I mean, can I be saving also the planet at the same time?
Of course. As I mentioned to you, veganism and vegetarianism are totally different. So let me first differentiate the two, Carrie. So vegetarianism, as I have already mentioned, do not consume any meat, fish, or poultry. In veganism, we reject all animal-derived food. In terms of vegetarianism, they might consume dairy, eggs, and honey, but vegans do not consume dairy, eggs, and honey, any animal ingredients. Vegetarian can use any animal products like belts, pearls, fur, and all of these things from animals. Vegans do not do that at all. They totally refuse anything that has animal byproducts in it. And so when we look at it holistically, you will see that vegetarianism is a diet, while veganism is a philosophy and a way of life. So the difference is really stark there. So when we talk about like really, trying to help with what's going on with our planet in terms of climate, I would really say go vegan. If you are concerned about the planet, go vegan, and that's the way to go because we are in a climate crisis, Carrie. You know this. You're also a climate reality leader, and if we are in a crisis, there's no other way to work around it. We have to really make sure that we do the radical thing because the crisis is calling us to do something that is greater than what we normally do. No, it is calling us to change, and I would really say that we have to change our life, and the change starts from our plate. So we have to look at our food in a very different way. We have to look beyond the plate when we think about our food. Beyond the plate is our water, our soil, the biodiversity, the climate, water pollution, and so on. And we could really make an impact. You know, the solution is actually in our hands, literally, you know, with what we eat. And we are, you know, we are really part of, you know, solving the climate crisis when we go vegan, I would say.
So what I was shocked about what you were saying was like being a vegetarian, it's a diet, but being vegan is a style of life. You know, like by being vegan, I am having and changing my life, another style of life that can save the planet and can save myself also by being a vegetarian. I am
Mhm.
also doing a diet. I am not helping nor myself, nor anybody, nor the planet, right?
Well, of course, when you're a vegetarian, you're limiting your intake of animal byproducts. So you're also helping the planet in a way. But as I mentioned, you know, because we are in a climate crisis right now, we have to be radical in our solutions. We have to be fast in our solutions. We cannot dilly-dally. We don't have time, actually. You know, I was looking at the climate clock. If you're familiar with the climate clock, you can look it up on the internet, and it would say, it would tell you how much time have we got. You know, if we are not going to act on it, then it's going to be what they call the runaway climate change. And the runaway climate change will give us a lot more you know, difficult consequences than what we are already experiencing right now. It's gonna be, experts are saying, we ain't seen nothing yet, Carrie. If we let it happen, if we don't do anything so you know, transformative in our life and in our the life of our community, in our family, in our, you know, wherever we are in our organizations, if we don't make that transformative, really radical change, we're not really contributing too much. And you know, there is just no more time. We have to do something about it.
Well, like Mr. Al Gore says, our boss says, like, we must, we can, we will, you know, fight
Definitely.
this climate change. And that is,
And we can, no?
yes, and we can. That's the thing, we can. But what about the protein and calories? Like, what
Oh,
about protein? You
you
know,
know,
there's a myth about protein that if you're a vegetarian or if you're vegan, you don't eat protein, you're gonna die, or your muscles are gonna fall, or your bones are not going to be good, or something. That's a myth, right?
it is a myth. And in fact, you know, Carrie, if you eat a meat-based diet, you are eating like, you know, what we call the second class protein. Why am I calling it a second class protein? Because animals eat plants where they get the protein from. And what we do is to put a middle
Right,
in it.
right. We eat them and they eat plants, and the plants eat soil. So, you know, and the soil eats sand, and there's a cycle. Yeah. Okay. I get passion for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why should we need a middle animal to deliver us the nutrients that we need? We don't need animals to deliver the right kind of protein, the first class protein to us. We eat the plants directly. I think that's the way to go. And this is also a kind of a myth when people think that you know, there is no protein in plants. Definitely not. The strongest animals in the world, you know, the elephants, all of the strongest animals in the world are on a plant-based diet. And
That is so true. I never thought about that. I mean, the cow that is huge, the elephant that is amazingly huge, they eat plants. Oh my God.
super strong. They're really strong. You know, they can just, you know, flick you over like that. And they don't eat any animals. No, they are on a plant-based diet. The gorillas, most of the diet that they eat are plants. And if you look at some of the athletes that are quite famous right now, in weightlifting, in different kinds of sports. A lot of them are going vegan right now because they see that their performance is better. And they're not saying that I need protein, so I need to eat meat. Of course not. There are a lot of protein sources in plants. You can eat beans, you can eat lentils, you can eat tofu, you can eat edamame, spinach, quinoa, tempeh, seitan. You can eat nuts. You can eat nut butters, not the real butter. You can eat so many plant-based meat alternatives. Of course, there are these are very versatile. You can cook them in any which way that you want. For example, the plant-based meats right now, they almost taste exactly like meat. They are really quite versatile right now. Not like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they taste terrible, but now they are quite good and very flavorful. And there are
Right.
so
And
many
we have the
choices.
technology for that. We have the technology not as the centuries ago. We have technology to cook something plant-based that is going to be flavored in our mouth and it's going to be like good, for our body. It's not like centuries ago that they didn't have flavors or spices or something to put to the food.
Mhm.
So
That
people say that veganism is expensive, Sheila, and I know it is in some countries. Is it true? Or we are
well,
not having like the wisdom to just buy?
Well, the reason why it becomes expensive for some people is because they're trying to look at those Instagram photos of vegan food
Oh
that
my
look
God.
really expensive with all of these exotic ingredients. Um, of course, if you're gonna eat like that on a daily basis, it's gonna be expensive. But if you're going to, look at what is local, what is seasonal, um, and then you will be able to plan your meals, then it is so much cheaper to be on a vegan diet, and it's so much easier to to really compare. Let's just say, gosh, a pound of meat. I don't have any idea how much is it right now, because I have not eaten them in how many years, like more than 2 decades.
It's
And
a lot.
okay,
In every country, it's a lot. So don't worry. Yeah, it's a lot. But you know what? In some countries, the vegetables and fruits are really expensive, more expensive than anything that you can eat, like cheese or milk, like animal products. Base plant diet in some countries are really expensive.
Mhm.
So that's why I was telling you. But maybe I was thinking, like, maybe, as you said, we can choose the ones that are not so expensive and we can use that as protein too, as you like the tofu, and that they're not so expensive, so we can use that. We can have the choices
Beans
there,
are really
right?
cheap, Beans are really cheap, nuts are really cheap.
Right.
Buy, like, for example, plant-based milks from the grocery store. It's expensive, but you can make that 1 liter of plant-based milk in your house using a handful of almonds, for example. Very cheap. And I do that also. I even make like even peanut milk. It doesn't have to be like the expensive kinds of nuts. No, a peanut milk is really tastes so good. At least for me, I feel that it is the best tasting plant milk out there. But Carrie, there is something that we are missing when we're talking about the price of vegan food. Comparing it to a carnivore diet and looking at the price of a carnivore diet, some people are saying it's so much cheaper. But because we're only looking at the grocery price, Carrie, we are only looking at the grocery price. What we are not seeing is what we call the externalized costs. The externalized cost of this, let's say, 1 pound of meat. I don't know how much. Let's say it's $10. I'm not sure. Let's say it's $10, but that is only the grocery price. We are not looking at the price or the cost to our health, the cost to the environment, the cost of animal lives who die. Um, all of these are not computed in the grocery price. So, as I mentioned a while ago, Carrie, we really have to start looking at food beyond the plate, beyond the price tag that we are seeing, because there is a more expensive price tag out there. It is the price of our planet. It is the price of our own health. And it is the price of, the lives of sentient beings, feeling beings. These are animals. They feel like us. They have emotions too. And they also want to live very much like us. And these are the costs that we are not computing. So when people tell me it's cheaper to be on a carnivorous diet, on a meat-based diet, I would say, no, the grocery price is cheaper, but the externalized cost is so much more expensive, and we don't want that.
Right, totally, totally. So, Sheila, you have a presentation, right?
Well, it's not really presenting, but let me try, Carrie. Um,
Okay, we can see the photos, okay, and you can tell us because
sure.
sometimes by looking at images, it's like better for us.
Okay, so let me try to show this one.
Okay.
I've been trying to show it, but this is what I was
Oh my
telling you.
God, look at that, right? Externalized costs. Yeah.
The externalized cost is something that we don't really, if we are just, looking at an issue like myopically, with a very limited view, we don't look at the externalized cost. We have to be able to look beyond the grocery price. And for example, we can look at the cost of it in terms of water, animal agriculture is using so much water. This is an example in California. And even if it's in California, this is basically the same all through all around the world. The amount of water that is being used in animal agriculture. Can you see that
That is that is like you're gonna laugh when I will say, but that is funny. Like I try to reduce water, like literally, I'm like in the shower, I'm like, oh my god, 7 minutes, 18 minutes, like 10 minutes, like I am trying to recycle and reduce water anywhere. And then I remember that we are having 47% in animal agriculture, and I'm like, I'm gonna say 5 minutes more. Like what the heck? I mean, it's incredible how we can make a little like transformation for every single day in our lives. And the big picture of the animal agriculture is not seen by the governments, and if they see it like this, yes, I know about animal agriculture, I know, and they like do not see it.
Yeah, definitely, Carrie. You're right. When I usually talk to people about water in terms of diet, I would ask them, what would you prefer, a burger or 27 showers, 27 days of fresh shower, your normal shower length, no? 27 days you're not showering because of this, one burger.
I mean,
And
one burger are
right.
27 showers.
Yeah, the one burger is equivalent to 27 showers.
Okay, I
It's
will say in Spanish. Una hamburguesa es equivalente a 27 duchas nuestras diarias. I mean, wow.
Yeah, because that's how much water is being used to produce that amount of meat. Very little meat, but the amount of water that is used to bring that to your table is so much. And for me, it doesn't make sense. For me, it's kind of uh, I am out of words. I really couldn't think of any word for this except that it doesn't make sense for me because we are in a crisis right now. The environment is really suffering, and then we continue to eat our burger, our meat-based burger, while you can actually, buy an equally delicious burger which is plant-based, which does not use the same amount of water that uh, is used in the meat-based burger. Another thing that I mentioned to you in terms of internalized cost carry is that when in the world, for example, there are 7.8 billion people in the planet, no?
Mhm.
And then in the U.S. alone, 9 billion animals are bred and slaughtered annually for
Wow.
food. So can you imagine we are feeding animals so that we will eat them? And there is so much hunger in the world. These 7.8 people are not fed sufficiently, there are so many people going hungry, and yet we're feeding 9 billion animals to be slaughtered.
And you know what I'm thinking right now while we were speaking? Like, we are literally slaughtering animals to eat plants because they eat plants. I mean, their meat the meat that we eat in the animal is made of the nutrition of the plants that they eat, so we can be fed by them. You know what I mean? I mean, we are eating like a lot of things that we can suppress and let them live.
Exactly. And you know, these 9 billion animals, I just would really like to, you know, really point this out.
Yes.
Each of these 9 billion animals, every one of them didn't want to die. And for me, that is, I think, the thought that keeps on coming to me when I think of this staggering number that's in front of us right now. You know, each one of those animals would like to live, and then we eat them, and you know, we are not even feeding the whole of the planet. No, a lot of people are going hungry, and we are feeding animals. So how come there are so many animals being slaughtered, but people are still hungry? Because you know, the conversion, carry, is very small. You know, it's we are producing so much plants for feed. Feed is for animals, and food are for people. You know, we are producing so much maize and soya for animals, and then we feed them to animals, and then we eat the animals. But when the animals come to us as food, it's only 12%. It is so much reduced. So there is a loss there. There is a very huge loss there. And so that's why it's not worth it. It's really not worth it, you know. We could have fed those maize and soya directly to people, so that you know, there will be no hunger in the world. So for me, this really does not make sense. I don't really understand why governments are continuing to perpetuate this while they can slowly transition, people to more plant-based diet. And it's easy to do that if it's coming from the government, wherein they can, you know, make legislations for schools to offer only vegan food in school lunches, for government procurement to be purely vegan, because you know, it's for the environment anyway, and for the health of the people.
Well, you know that there's one list show, the like famous show that we have in Vision is for that. You know, like I think that governments know about this, but they are afraid of using these patterns of perspective, sustainable diet-based footprint. Why? Because they're accustomed to the cultural reality tradition of centuries ago, and they're like afraid to lose business or to lose money or to lose whatever they are doing, and they're afraid of the new, you know, the new panoramic perspective sustainable that we are all fighting for. And I think that if they are knowing that this is the correct path to go to save ourselves, to save the animals, and to save the planet, they can be sure that they're going to make more money even than what they are doing right now. You know, like for a success, you have sometimes to lose everything. So to go to the correct path, and they are maybe afraid of doing that. And it's understandable, but it's not worth it because like everybody's dying, including the planet. So yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
And what I think about this is that people are afraid of change, and they think
Yes.
that it's going to be like mandatory. You know, the government doesn't even have to make it mandatory for everyone to go vegan. They can just, you know, change a few programs. The government is usually the biggest, buyer of everything. Any supply, the government is always the biggest buyer of everything. And so if they can just change a few things, and if they can really like try to promote this diet, so people will understand, and you know, all of those myths about plant-based diet will go away. Then people will have more acceptance of it, and it will be a gradual change. It won't be instant, but it's gonna happen. If
Well, you
we
know that it's funny what you mentioned, because we have here Joseph Sola, that he was not a plant-based diet guy, so he is gonna tell us what he did. But first of all, before going to Joseph, Sheila, as a futurist, okay, what is your future projection regarding this footprint that we are talking about?
Okay, I think I have something here. Okay, this is just a simple picture, Carrie, but
Yes.
for me, it says a lot of things. The futures of food actually is very different from we perceive right now. Right now, we are looking at food in terms of what we see on the table. We hardly look at it beyond what is on the plate. But the food of the future is going to be not just about what we put in our mouth. It is also about ethics. It is also about human health. It is also going to be about planetary health. And it's also going to be about our spiritual health. What would make us feel that we are, you know, serving the larger whole of the world. That is spirituality, right? So definitely in the future, we are going to talk about what is an ethical food. What is ethical food? And that will be the food of the future, because people will start to understand animal sentience. People will start to understand that animals have feelings and they don't want to die. And then we would also see how, you know, animal agriculture is contributing to climate change. Um, and we would also see how, you know, meat-based diet is destroying our health. And so it is overall planetary health, I would say, when we talk about the future of food. It's going to be an ethical issue and no longer just an issue of feeding mouths.
Totally, totally. I totally agree. You know that we are spirit beings. We are spirits in a body that have a soul and a heart, you know. So God is spirit, and we are created to his image. Everybody is the image of God. So we need to understand that this is spirit, body, soul, you know. It's that way, it's that cycle. And the earth and the animals and everything is interconnected. So I think also that the future is going to be so totally ethical in every single thing that we do. And for that, we have our another speaker here that you're going. Are you staying, Sheila? I know it's very early. Yes, please stay with me. Yes. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you for what you.
Thank you for having me, Sherry.
Thank you. It was amazing. Do you want to say anything else to the audience?
Well, yes, definitely. I think we need to reflect, Carrie. We really need to reflect on what we eat, and try to see how we are nourishing ourselves, not just our physical selves, but you know, nourishing our emotions, knowing that we are not hurting any other being. You know, nourishing our spirit. Uh, Knowing that we are contributing to the solution and not to the problem. And that reflection hopefully would help us decide what is the right thing to do.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sheila. Please stay with us. Joseph's gonna cook. Just stay with us. Okay. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for accepting, and thank you for being awake at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. right now in the Philippines, in Asia. So from Asia and Mexico, we're going to United States. And I'm going to say, hey, Joseph, how are you? Joseph, you're muted. You have to go to the microphone there. You're muted. It's okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Hey,
amazing,
Joseph,
amazing presentation, Sheila. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Joseph, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't know if you could hear me or not. I'm usually a very loud mouth, so thank you.
Okay, so I see some cooking.
Yes, we have a lot of food here. So,
oh my God,
yeah,
oh my God,
kind of,
oh my God. Are you gonna send that? Okay.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'll come and cook for you guys.
Oh my God,
so,
yes,
yeah.
please. I mean, I don't know what you're going to cook, but we will see right now. So
well,
first
I'm
of
going
all,
to talk a little bit about what Sheila was saying, and the price of going vegan, and how some people think it's expensive, and there's definitely economical ways of doing things, and I'm going to show a couple of different ones that are economical. But is it all right if I show you a couple of items that aren't economical that we have going on in the United States? So,
okay.
Can you see this?
No, just yes. What is that? Oh my God,
okay,
yes.
What does that look like to you?
Meat?
Yes. Well, that's the Impossible Burger.
That's a burger, like a vegan burger?
It's a vegan burger. It's called the Impossible Burger.
Wow,
it looks like it, it tastes just like it, and it's $10 a pound.
Oh my God, and that's not meat, right?
Not meat.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay.
Now this is a chicken item that's new in the market, but this is like $15 a pound.
Wow.
So it's expensive, but it's really good. Okay. And we have like these crumbles, right, from GAARD. I don't know if people have GAARD in their countries or not.
Some of them do.
But this is like $5 a pound.
Okay.
Cheap. That's inexpensive.
Okay. So let me introduce to the audience who Joseph is. Joseph, before we start with this exciting.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, because nobody knows like who's talking. Okay. So today we're having Joseph Solar, the chef owner of the acclaimed Greyhound Cafe. If you are over there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, please go to the Greyhound Cafe. You're gonna see what this chef is gonna do right here. So thank you, Joseph, so much for being here.
Pleasure. So I don't know if we want to talk first, or do we want to talk and cook?
I'm gonna introduce to the audience, and then we'll start talking like with all that we have. Okay. So Joseph today is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where his Greyhound Cafe has been featured on CNN. He was like literally in CNN talking about this, various other networks, and to explain what is to be vegan and demonstrate some of his award-winning vegan cuisine. We have here an award-winning, guys, like, hooray, congratulations. So Joseph, let's begin by telling us a little about you and how you come to become a vegan. Because you were not a vegan first, right? I want to say something like Joseph was working in an enterprise and he left everything, like literally everything, and changed his life. Yes.
Right. Well, my stepdaughter came to me one day and said, if you love me, you'll go vegan. And I said, well, I love you, so I'll try it. And so the next day I went, plant-based. And, after, I thought it would just be like 2 weeks. I thought she would quit. But after about a month, I could really tell the difference in how I felt. I mean, physically, mentally, I just felt cleaner, more energetic. Then after 6 months, I lost like 45 pounds. My energy level shot through the roof. My blood work was excellent. I'm 64 years old. And, I just feel great. So it really changed my life. And, to piggyback on what Sheila was saying about, plant-based and veganism, plant-based is the diet, right? And veganism is the lifestyle. So,
yes, what is that? What is a vegan lifestyle?
Well, we don't buy wool suits. We don't buy leather boots. We don't buy, things, silk. Don't eat honey. Don't eat dairy. Don't eat, any meat products. And I don't miss any of it. I've been a vegan for 5.5 years now. And I don't miss anything. Nowadays, here in the States and Europe, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but so easy to find, clothes and shoes and, just anything that you want that's vegan, so it's
So
definitely getting easier.
I'm sorry, you were 50 years of your life not vegan, like the normal human being?
I lived like I'm almost 60 years.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
5 years ago, you're like this vegan lifestyle that you were having, and you became a chef there. Like you were not.
Well,
a chef.
I've always been in the food business. So
Okay.
I always cooked, and I always managed restaurants and that kind of a thing. But so where I was working at, when I went plant-based or went vegan, I still worked there for maybe, I don't know, another year maybe. And after that, I just couldn't do it anymore. And so then that's when I decided to open up the restaurant that we have in Melbourne. And it's been good. I mean, people are receiving us well. People now post-COVID are starting to realize that maybe plant-based is the way to go. There's a lot of documentaries out that really help people, understand it more, like the Game Changers. I think that maybe the documentary you were talking about. Was that? Did you watch the Game Changers stuff?
I saw Cowspiracy. I saw Healthcare Made. I saw a lot. I was like, I literally didn't sleep watching all this documentary, and they were so treated to my cell, like mind cells. It was like another set of mine.
The documentary called The Game Changers on Netflix.
Yeah,
that's all about athletes.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, it's really good.
You just saw the blood that I told, the blood that was transparent, the blood that was obscure. It was amazing. It was incredible. So what do you mean, Joseph, what do you mean about the devoid of animal products?
Well, there's no animal products in any of my food. I don't use butter. I don't use yogurt, dairy, cheese, dairy. I mean, like we make our own cheese at the restaurant. We use soy milk and
cheese without animal products. Like how kind of cheese? I mean, there's a plant that makes cheese. No.
Well, we use milk. We use coconut milk to make our cheese. Oh, and we started using oat milk to make our cheese, and it's really good. So we're just testing that right now, but it's really nice.
So you don't use beef, pork, lamb, no red meat, no fish, no chicken, no duck, no poultry, like nothing, like milk, mayonnaise, like honey.
This is the fish that I use. It's called Gardein fish fillets.
Okay.
And it tastes just like fish.
That one of the things that I love about vegetarian, because I am not vegan, I am a vegetarian, and like sometimes I like literally love fish to eat fish. I eat very much fish. And when I saw that vegan, it has no eggs and not fish that I love, I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, really? I thought fish was good for the brain. I thought eggs were like most nutrition food in eggs and cheese. But it's not like this, right? Like honey exploits the bee. So you don't use honey. So how can you replace the honey?
Well, there's something that people use called agave. That's sweetener. There's now they have faux honeys out in the marketplace. They taste really good. I mean, in the States, there's a lot of things happening here in Europe. I mean, I don't really know about the rest of the world, but I don't miss anything. I mean, I've been a vegan for 5.5 years, and I don't miss anything. I mean, I make, like steak à poivre, I make, steak Oscar, I do chicken dishes. Today, we're going to do like barbecue sliders made with jackfruit. We're going to make some barbecue sliders with jackfruit. And then I'm going to make a pasta dish with mushrooms and peas. And I may add some soy curls. I don't know if you're familiar with the soy curls.
Okay.
This is what it looks like. The product is
soya.
Yeah, so it's made from soy, but then you hydrate it, and I mean it's really good. I mean, it gives you that texture of meat, but you have to know how to hydrate it so that the texture is right. But I mean, I don't miss anything. I love it all. And if you go to our website, look at our menu, you'll see that we do everything. We have Mexican food and Italian food there. Serve pizzas. We do sushi there.
But all vegan. I'm gonna say it again.
All vegan, yeah.
Everything is, I mean, sushi vegan, like, well, sushi is like sushi vegan, like Mexican food, like fajitas with meat. How do you replace that? You know, the fajitas, the nachos, like how you cannot eat fajitas without meat. How do you do that?
Well, you can. we make the meat. It's called seitan.
Yeah.
You know, Sheila was talking about seitan, so that's, you know, we make our own from a high gluten flour, and it's quite a process. So I'm not going to explain it, but I mean, when you cook it, it's great. Has the texture of meat. You know, it's very flavorful, and it's a great substitute. And on top of that, you're saving yourself, and you're saving the animals, and you're saving the planet.
So everything is healthy here. Like,
yes. Well, I mean, there's good, you know, there's healthy vegan diet or plant-based diets. And then there's, you know, like fried foods and, you know, those kinds of comfort food, plant-based diet. So in my restaurant, we have a little bit of both, but it's more of the, you know, like the, you know, we have like the fajitas, we have pasta dishes, we have pizzas. So, you know, some people might say that that's not, you know, the healthiest diet, and I wouldn't argue that, but I would say that, you know, for people that are trying to transition into a plant-based diet, my place is the place to go and do it.
Right. And what is the difference? Like Sheila said, right? Like, what about the need of protein? Like, what is the difference? I mean, the core difference in between vegans and vegetarians, that the protein, everybody has a myth with that. Like I said to Sheila, and Sheila said that yes, and she said to us that. But what about your opinion? Like, what about the protein that we need as human beings? You know? Well,
you know, the only time that a human has ever been diagnosed with low protein is in a third world country where they're starving. You know, I mean, like, I think that the average protein that a human needs is like 50 to 60 grams of protein a day.
Yes, you're correct. Yes.
And, you know, like I have something, you know, the seitan, if you look it up, I think a 3-ounce portion of seitan has, I think it's about 75 grams of protein in it.
Well, so, also the what's the word in English? The beans. The beans have like 45. I mean, 40.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, like, like Sheila was saying, I mean, like, if you think about the animals that eat plant-based food. Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay. It happens. Yeah, like 1 cup of red beans contains like 43 grams of protein. So 1 cup can have like, I don't know, like have like 3 cups. It's going to be like triple the size, you know, of protein. Yeah. So we have like 100 and something protein in my organism, like with no meat.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, you know, it's crazy how much protein. I mean, that's why the elephants are as big and strong as they are. The rhinoceros, the hippopotamus, none of the big ones eat meat. If you think about it, you know, it seems like the big animals, they're all plant-based. I mean, gorillas are plant-based. I mean, you know, they're big, you know, so.
Yeah. And you know that I can hear the haters and the like saying like, hey, you know what, Joseph and Sheila, like there's a lion and the lion eats meat. Yeah. You know, like I can hear the haters there, but that's
okay. I mean, they can say whatever they like, but you know, I mean, physically, I think, and it's been proven scientifically that we weren't designed to eat meat. We're designed to eat plants. And, you know, our teeth tell us that we don't have the kind of teeth that a lion has, you know, but because of climate, because of, you know, the way things were when, you know, people, you know, when we first came into the universe, you know, I mean, like in Pennsylvania, 100 years ago in the wintertime, what are you going to eat? You're not going to eat vegetables because there's no vegetables. You know, it's freezing here. There's snow and nothing's going to grow. And so you had to eat something. Well, that's just not the case anymore.
You know that when you were speaking, I was like remembering, right? And when we like when the humanity appeared, you know, like the Bible says, like we will have like plants and fruits. And then when after we were developing and having children, the first women and men like Adam and Eva, then there they start killing animals, you know, after the sinful and everything. So I mean, like we were like literally eating plants and fruits by God, and then we were like, we took everything that God gave us to our convenience, you know, like if there's an animal there, we can use it to eat it because I want to, like something like that. And we do that, like we as human beings, I am putting myself first, we tend to grab things and destroy them for our convenience instead of like making life from them, right? Like instead of enjoying them. And I think, like that's one of the things that we have here.
Yeah, well, I mean, spiritually, I mean, when you think about, you know, it's like, I mean, it sounds crazy, but, you know, when you're consuming dead carcasses, you know, how good can that make you feel? I mean, your body, you know, I mean, and there's people that don't get sick, you know, I mean, there's people that die of old age that eat meat, but there's a lot more of them that get sick, that get cancer, that get, you know, that have problems with their heart and, you know, their blood, their veins, their arteries. I mean, you know, they're clogged up from all the cholesterol that's in the meat and, you know, those kinds of things. So, you know, people are going to do whatever they want. You can't save everybody because, you know, you got people that have a way of thinking and that's the way they think. And, you know, I say, God bless them. And I hope they come around and understand that, you know, they don't need to do that anymore. I mean, you know, it's really something to me when, you know, people have dogs and cats in their house and, you know, they wouldn't eat them, but they'll eat a pig or a cow, you know, what's the difference? You know, they're animals, you know? So, I mean, they're bigger, but I mean, if I brought a cow or a pig into my house, it might tear it up, but I mean, they'd be just as loving, you know?
Yes, and we cannot, I mean, we can educate, we can make them aware, like everybody to know what their choices are and what their options are, and we cannot change hearts. The only one changing hearts is God, and we are not God. So we can only give the options and the education and the awareness of what they can choose between their options, and they can choose whatever they want, and they feel that they are for that option, right? So what I want to know, like, what is the most popular, like, place in your restaurant?
Well, you know, on the appetizers, we have their wings, you know, our buffalo wings. And so we use the seitan for the buffalo wings. And there's a news group called BuzzFeed. And, you know, it's international. If you go online and you want to, you know.
Yeah, BuzzFeed, of course.
BuzzFeed.
I mean, but wait, I was thinking, wait. Like you said buffalo wings?
Yeah.
But that is meat.
No, not mine.
I mean, okay, wait. Like the buffalo wings are the one that you eat, like in any restaurant, like you got like barbecue sauce and you're like, oh my God, I'm so satisfied with this. Like that's meat, like literally meat with bone.
Well, my wings don't have meat in them. So they're made from seitan. So BuzzFeed wrote an article about the best wings in America. Then they picked the best wings in each state, and we won Pennsylvania 2 years in a row, 2019 and 2020.
Wow, Joseph.
Wow, that's amazing. I was like thinking like, oh my God. So buffalo wings, not meat.
Nothing in my restaurant is meat. No dairy, no meat, nothing. And everything that anybody can do out there that I mean, the only thing that I can't really replicate yet is oysters.
Okay. Oh my God, I love them. Okay, so what are you going to cook us today?
Well, I'm going to cook. This is jackfruit. So I know that Sheila probably knows about jackfruit because it's very popular in the Philippines.
Yaca in Mexico.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I have my jackfruit marinating, and all it's got is smoked paprika and some salt, and that's it. So I'm going to drain it.
Okay. So that's yaca. Yaca en México conoce la fruta y la verdura yaca, así que.
I'm going to make, barbecue sliders.
Okay.
So it's gonna look like pork, you know, like pulled pork, you know, como carne rallada. So,
Yaca, right?
Is that what you call it? Like pulled pork rallada? Like stringy beef or stringy pork?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, como carne picada sería.
Yeah, yeah.
Yaca.
So this is going to be the first thing.
Like,
so
okay.
this can here, it has about, after you take out, you know, after you drain it, it has about, you know, 10, 12 ounces of jackfruit in it, right? And that was, this can cost $3.50.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea of price point. So it's not that much. And when you look at how much product is there, I'll be able to make like 8 sandwiches with this. You know, little sliders. 8
sandwiches? Oh my gosh. Okay.
So for that $3.50.
And definitely not expensive, right?
Right, $3.50 and like $10, like eight people. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm taking notes. Like.
Well, this is like so easy to make. I mean, I put smoked paprika in there, and I put a little salt in there, and then I'm gonna add my barbecue sauce that I make at the restaurant, and that's it.
Okay. The barbecue sauce. You said that you don't use mayonnaise. I mean, you're a vegan. You don't use mayonnaise. You don't use those products. So how do you make the barbecue sauce?
Well, it's just got tomatoes and ours has pico de gallo in it and jalapenos. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can buy barbecue sauce at the store. I mean,
because you don't use eggs. Being a vegan, you don't use yolks. You don't use eggs.
No eggs, nothing.
Oh my
barbecue
God.
sauce barbecue sauce doesn't have eggs.
I know. So you're cooking with oil? Olive oil?
There's no oil in that.
Oh my God. Okay.
When I make the pasta dish, I'll have some oil in it, but I don't have any.
Okay. So
I'm just heating this up. Then I'm gonna put my barbecue sauce on. That's it. So really easy to make.
It's like, I don't know, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a little longer, but I mean, you know, after you have. So when you start to cook it more, it starts to break apart more. So the longer you cook it, the stringier it gets.
Okay. So that's gonna be like, I don't know, like $10?
No. I mean, like when you get this, like these rolls, there's 24 rolls in this. That was $5.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like less than $10, right?
Probably less than 7.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
For 8 sliders, Joseph. For 8 sliders, that's less than $10 or yeah. Wow. So you're feeding people like less than $1.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
I'm not. I charge a lot of money at my restaurant.
No, I mean this one.
But you're going to give discounts right now. You're going to give discounts for the one that go.
If I'm cooking, I have to get paid. I'm sorry.
Of course.
Okay, so that's the barbecue sauce. You put it over there.
So you see that?
Mm-hmm.
See
oh my God, I can smell it.
So good.
So good.
You have smell-o-phone?
Oh my God, can I grab something? Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's barbecue jackfruit sliders. How do you make the sliders?
I'll show you. So this is the sliders.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Put a couple of couple of pickles.
Okay. Yeah.
And some French fries, and we're ready to go. That's it.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow. That's
Easy
awesome.
and inexpensive.
Less than $10. That's awesome. That's amazing. Amazing. Wow.
And it's plants.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. And it's all plant-based. Yes. So,
So the next dish,
next dish.
the next dish I'm going to make is a pasta dish with a white wine sauce. That's, you know, when I was breaking down the price point, you know, it's going to have the pasta, it's going to have the peas, it's going to have shallots, it's going to have mushrooms, veggie stock, soy milk, and, you know, a little cornstarch to make it thick, and some nutritional yeast, right? And so the cost is less than $2 for this dish that I'm going to make.
Okay, again, less than $2 or $20? $2 for a mushroom and peas pasta in a white wine sauce.
If you make it, not if I make it.
I'm gonna say in Spanish. This, like, I need translation here. Un plato de $2.
Un plato de $2.
You can say, just speak Spanish. I forgot. Yeah, you can say.
So I'm using a vegan butter to start cooking my shallots.
Okay, wait. How's a vegan butter vegan?
I don't know. I don't make that. I just buy it.
Okay. That's good. I don't know either, but yeah, there's
so I'm gonna drop some shallots in there.
They use oil actually.
What?
They use just oil. In the Philippines, they make a vegan butter using coconut oil.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Okay.
Well, this one has like a really good butter flavor. So it's really nice. Now I'm going to drop some mushrooms in it.
Okay. Hongos, arvejas, en una salsa blanca, en un vino de salsa blanca, con vino blanco, todo por $2.
Sí.
Oh my gosh. Like, I am thinking right now, like, okay. Okay, so in 2 dishes, it's $10 with 2 dishes. No, less than $7, and then
si yo pongo esto, you know, para 4 onzas sale como 50 centavos más.
Okay, so it's gonna be like $10.50. Okay, I am spending a lot of money on food. I'm just really, like, I'm spending a lot of money on food. This is not good. Oh my God, so there you have the pasta.
See, when people think of a lot of money, they think of stuff like this. This is a lot of money. This is $15 a pound. You know? So it's like, that's a lot.
But that's
a hamburger that I showed you before, that's $10 a pound. That's not that expensive. But when you go buy a steak, you know, you can spend $25 a pound for that. You know, filet or a strip.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Mexico and the third world countries because you're in the United States. I don't know, Philippines, Sheila, how much money is there, the things that Joseph is cooking, but I'm thinking about the mushrooms, the peas, they're not so expensive. And with the pasta, you know, for how many servings do you have there?
Probably, I mean, I have enough for probably 4 servings.
Wow, okay. So you can have like the dishes for like the morning, the afternoon, the dinner, you know, lunch, brunch, you know, like $10. Yes, Sheila.
Yeah, I was thinking about the cost, and you know, Carrie, it was so difficult to be a vegetarian a long time ago when I started. It's even easier to be vegan now than vegetarian 20 plus years ago. And this is because, you know, there are a lot more products now that vegans can choose from. And then also in terms of, you know, information about veganism, it's at the tip of our fingertips. You can look at it on your phone. That time there was no internet. It was very difficult to find information. There's nobody to ask. Nobody. But now you see in a restaurant like Joseph's, it's
The Greyhound Cafe. The Greyhound Cafe. Just to say again.
Well, you know, it's funny but there's a Greyhound Cafe in the Philippines.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Really?
But it's a different kind of cafe. It's a
Oh,
it's
you have to be partnered there.
It's not vegan.
It's not. Okay.
You have to partner with them.
There are quite a lot of vegan restaurants also now, like cropping up everywhere. I think this is becoming, it's not a fad, definitely, Carrie.
Right. What are you doing there, Joseph? I
just added my cream. I have a little veggie stock in there.
Okay.
My soy milk. It's soy milk, not cream.
Okay, not cream. Soy.
Yeah, soy milk. I put soy milk. And you can use oat milk or coconut milk, whatever you want. You know, whichever you like. I have a little bit of white wine in there.
Okay, so you put first
like
the
this is just cornstarch with a little water to make the sauce thicker.
Okay. You put first the mushrooms, then the peas, and then the pasta, and then the sauces.
Yeah. But like with this, I mean, if somebody wanted to, you could put like a vegan sausage in that. You could do the soy curls with that if you wanted like a meat.
Okay. And that's that's like 4 servings, right?
Yeah, I can make 4 servings of that.
Okay. So we have like $10 with 2 dishes.
Yeah, just say $10 or $12 for 4 people.
Okay. And how many minutes? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
I'm almost finished with this one.
Wow, that's so quick.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm just waiting for it to get thick and we're done.
Okay. Okay. So you put pepper, salt.
I put shallots. I put mushrooms in with the shallots. I put veggie stock. I put white wine. Little nutritional yeast. You know, it's kind of a cheesy flavor. Gives it that creamy kind of texture. The peas and you know, I have some parsley here.
And what about the white wine? We can use any white wine.
I use Chardonnay.
You put Chardonnay. Okay, Chardonnay is good. Yeah. I mean, specifically for this food, or like Chardonnay is good for use to cook.
I use it for cooking.
Okay, you don't use white Zinfandel or something like that.
Too sweet.
Pinot Noir, like no. Okay.
And then I have, this is a vegan cheese that we use.
Okay.
And it's a Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
So really don't need that much.
So 2 dishes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Can you put the fork there? Not the knife. We are fork and knives. Let's see the fork.
Here you go, open wide.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. There you have the forks. You know, we don't need knives. Why? Because there is the fork versus knife. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So I'm going to like repeat 2 dishes, less than $10-12 for servings, like I don't know, like 14 servings or something in 2 dishes, or 15 servings like that.
Well, it's probably like 8 servings for both dishes that I did. It's probably 4 servings each. I could make 8 sliders, but
Okay.
two per person, you know, with some French fries, you know.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
you know, it's you know, it can be really inexpensive if you know what to buy and you know what to do.
That's amazing. Thank
Unless
you so
I cook
much.
for you, then it's going to be expensive.
Thank you so much for cooking for us. Thank you so much for your recipes, and thank you so much for being here. So, Joseph, what advice would you have for someone wanting to try this vegan style?
You know, it's you know, think about what you normally eat. You know, like if you're, you know, if you have, you know, like dinner, you're gonna have the protein and you're gonna have two vegetables, you know, starch and a vegetable, right? So you're almost there already. You know, so that's the first part. But if you do research, and depending on where you're at in the world, that will determine what you can use for, you know, meat substitutes. Seitan is a great meat substitute for protein, you know, for any protein. I mean, it's like for chicken or for beef, that's a great, you know, substitute. And you can go on YouTube or Google and look up how to make seitan. I mean, it's really, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the neck, but it's really, really good. I mean, we make it at the restaurant. You know, we make it probably 2 or 3 times a week, depending on how busy we are. And, you know, we do like 100 pounds at a time. So, you know, flour, because it's made from flour, the seitan. But, you know, I mean, it's just, you just have to get comfortable with it, research. I mean, you know, people taught us how to eat. So now we have to teach ourselves how to eat better, you know, and, you know, figure out different ways to make that happen so we can have different, you know, substitutes. I mean, like I can, you know, here they have like, you can make deli meat to make sandwiches with. I mean, I made pepperoni, I've made hams, I've made, you know, salamis, you know, that kind of a thing from beans. And there's all kinds of recipes on Google that you can find. I mean, it's so much easier now. And you just have to try.
What about flowers? I mean, I'm sorry. Do you eat flowers?
I don't.
Do you?
I mean, I have, but yeah, I mean, you know, for me, I'm a hearty eater. I like to eat like hearty food. And so, you know, like the sandwich, for example, I mean, that's really good to me. It tastes really good. It tastes like what I'm used to eating. You know, the texture is like, you know, like pork.
Right. You make like a, you fool your organism like with the same taste as you had like 60 years ago.
Well, I know that it's, you know, it's plant-based. So, you know, but it's the flavors that I love, you know, it's the textures that I love. So when I first, I mean, it was 8 months after I went plant-based that I decided to do the restaurant. You know, after 8 months, that's when I said, I'm going to open a plant-based restaurant. I didn't know anything about plant-based food, how to make plant-based. I mean, I didn't know anything about it.
Oh my God, you didn't know about anything and you were like opening the restaurant.
Yeah. And so, you know, we opened it and I mean, you know, now I'm so much further ahead than I was then. I mean, you know, but it was, you know, like I remember I used to buy my mayonnaise, right? So I would buy my mayonnaise and it was $125 for 5 gallons of it. You know, I was like, I'm not spending that much money. So I learned how to make mayonnaise, you know, plant-based. And, you know, so that's kind of how I started learning how to do things, just because it, you know, it didn't make financial sense to go buy it. But now in the States, everything is so much cheaper, you know? So we'll figure out for the next time, you know, we'll have a little more time to kind of coordinate and maybe, you know, like I can put some more recipes on our website, help people with different things. If anybody has requests, you know, that kind of a thing, if they want, you know, I'm happy to help out, whatever. You know, they can go to my Instagram at
website.
They can go to my website is thegreyhoundcafe.com, or, you know, you can go to the Instagram at the Greyhound Cafe and see, you know, like all the food that we do. We have a bunch of pictures on there of the food that we serve. And, you know, if you want to leave a message, you know, holla.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Sheila, you want to say your websites?
Yeah, so I'm on Medium. You can look for me, Sheila R. Castillo on Medium. And on Facebook, I'm Sheila RC. I also have another blog, which is Sheila R. Castillo at wordpress.com. So just find me there. It's basically Sheila R. Castillo. You'll find me on LinkedIn and wherever else.
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna eat for us, right, Joseph? Oh my
Sorry.
God, I'm so hungry right now.
It's not fair.
Thank you
Caught
so
me.
much. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for cooking for us. Thank you for opening your home. Thank you for opening your plates, your dishes, every single food that you bought for us. Thank you so much for educating people how to eat and how to cook vegan. Thank you.
Anytime I can help, let me know.
Thank you, Sheila, for your education, for your awareness. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you. From the CEO of Limaa, Dr. Aquilina Vasquez, we say thank you. I say thank you. And thank you so much for being here in this live climate show vision from the section of Limaa. Thank you so much, Sheila, and thank you so much, Joseph. We are honored by your presence, and we are honored by your presentation and everything that you're doing. And I want to thank you for what you're doing, not only for yourself, but for the planet and for everybody around you, in your countries and wherever you are. You are the example to others that you can make everything possible. If you want to change, you can change. And you are the example here for that in your countries and in everywhere globally. So thank you so much for being that example to us, the ones that are here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Sheila, it was a pleasure. Also, it was a pleasure. Please do not forget to go to the Greyhound Cafe in Philadelphia if you are there, and then in Sheila in Medium. And Sheila, you can give the website about the futurists.
Yeah, look for the Association of Professional Futurists. I also blog there as an emerging fellow.
Yes, we're gonna have another section for that. So thank you so much for you being with us today. Thank you for being in your afternoon with us, in your morning, in your evening, wherever you are in the part of the world that you're watching us. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that this vision was a perspective sustainable for your heart and mind to get renewed in the awareness of what we are doing, a regenerative lifestyle that we are going to help us, ourselves, our health, our planet, and everything around us, because we are all interconnected. So thank you so much again for being here with us. From Limaa, from Vision, from all of us, thank you. May God bless all of you. Stay safe, and thank you. We see you again next month on the last Saturday of each month, as always, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Joseph. God bless everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.